Welcome back to another empowering episode of Exponential Potential. And today's episode is all about empowering women to unlock their wealth and financial freedom. Because this month, let's talk about wealth, baby. Let's talk about all the money. Let's talk about abundance, prosperity. I'll stop now. But we are talking about prosperity and abundance and money. And you notice how different it feels when you go, whoop, as opposed to cost of living. It's like, no, wealth. That's it. Hey, Jen.
Hey, Claire. Awesome. I love that. Yes. And energy is a big thing around what we're talking about today and why and the impacts it has on women's money blocks. But I'm going to let you introduce the
Yeah.
episode.
Well, audience, you are very, very welcome. And as you know, I'm your host, Claire Oatway. And as we've mentioned, we're diving into a topic that's vital for every woman, regardless of where you are on the spectrum, every woman, unlocking financial freedom and building wealth in a way that feels aligned, sustainable, and powerful. And we know that when women are more aligned and have more wealth, everybody benefits. So this is important for the planet. So whether you worry about money, or you feel like financial abundance is just out of reach, then this episode is for you. We have got a lot to share. We're going to talk about releasing your money blocks. As always, as practical Virgos, we've got the practical advice that helps you to change that money mindset. And we really want to transform your energy around money. I promise that's the last of the singing, unless you
Sure.
want. Jen may dance, but I can't be held responsible for that. But transforming your energy around money so that you can attract more money and abundance. And I can't think of a better person to be leading us on this topic. And Jen, you are my equal and not actually opposite, equal and aligned force when it comes to exponential potential. But actually, you're here in the expert seat. And kind of we're going to hear your insights, your incredible insights, and the transformational techniques that you use. And for those of you that haven't met Jen in more detail, she's spent over a decade helping high achieving women break free from anxiety and burnout and overwhelm. Um, really help to create that sense of sustainable and fulfilling success in all areas of life, including money, but actually with a sense of balance, freedom, and joy. And Jen, she doesn't talk about it very much, and she's going to blush like crazy. But Jen's an international best-selling author, a certified expert transformation coach, a Reiki master, and co-host of a five-star rated podcast. Which one's that then? But today, Jen, we're going to focus on money and you're going to guide us through the biggest blocks that women face when it comes to creating wealth and how we can shift, not just our mindset, but also our energy to attract in that financial abundance. Yes. So go on. We're going to dive into the three core blocks that stop women from achieving financial freedom, how you can break through them, how your beliefs around money are silently sabotaging your success, and the daily rituals and energetic shifts you can make that it will help to manifest wealth and prosperity. Um, Jen's got a lot in her background, and she doesn't hold back. Her personal journey, her insights will inspire and challenge you to think about wealth in a completely different way. So whether you're stuck in scarcity, if you're stuck in scarcity, or you're ready to step up even further, then this conversation will help you to transform how you approach your financial future. Jen.
Awesome. I can't wait. And I am going to get just vulnerability alert, spoiler alert, I will get really vulnerable on this topic because it's one of the biggest areas that I've struggled with in my life.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I tell you what, let's just crack on in
Mm.
and let's start off. What are the three core things that you see that block women from living a life of financial freedom and wealth?
And the first one that comes to mind is worry. Worrying, women are by nature fairly good at worrying. We come from generations of women that worry.
I am a warrior.
Warrior. Um, that's not to say just because we come from generational worry, that's not to say we can't change it. But what I find an awful lot, and just speaking with friends, how much focus they put on money or the lack of,
Mm,
constantly worrying about money and focusing on, oh God, this, as you said earlier, the cost of living is going up. That's a conversation that's worldwide at the moment, isn't it?
yeah.
And we struggle with money. It's a hardship. It's, oh God, mortgage payments are going up. How am I going to afford that? I need a new car. I can't afford that. um I'd love to go on that particular holiday, but we can't afford it. We got to dumb it down. We got to maybe not go as far or not go as luxurious. And some people can't even afford to go on holiday because their mortgage payments have gone through the roof. So there's a huge amount of worry. And not just worrying about money, but worrying about if we're going to lose our job, worrying about if you might or might not get that next contract. And from an entrepreneurial point of view, it's worrying about where the next clients are going to come from.
Hmm.
How are they going to find me? Are they going to find me? Will they pay the value that I offer? Will they pay that?
Yeah.
And then there's all these um, well, we'll go into that in a minute, but there's so much worry around
Well,
it. That's number
yeah.
one.
Yeah, definitely. And I can relate to that worry. And if you're listening and going, I don't worry about it because I kind of ignore it and then it goes away. Um, guys, let's be really honest. If you're ignoring it, you're just not dealing with the worry. And I'm in your camp and I recognize still that the worry creeps through. And if I'm not thinking about it actively, doesn't mean I'm not thinking about it.
Yes, absolutely. And we carry it without realizing we're carrying it. And the other thing, even if we have money, I found this a lot, even with women that are really successful, and they're earning a lot of money, they still worry about losing that money. If you're really successful, you have a well-paid job, or you're really successful in your business, you're worrying about money. Maybe you're going to lose it or you need more. So there's still inherently we come from a place of scarcity and lack. So that's where all that worry comes from. And the language, and because we're worrying about money all the time, or not, but a lot of the time, we start using negative language around it. So I can't afford it. We can't afford it. Oh no, I can't do that. I've got to, oh, we can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to go away at the weekend. We can't afford that nice restaurant that we want to go to. We can't afford a weekend in London. There's all many, can't afford school fees. So we have to be very careful about the negative language we use around money. And as I was going to go into belief systems as well, that's number two. Number one is worry. Number two is belief systems. And this is what I've struggled with. What we have been taught about money, what we have experienced, what we've heard growing up. And my generation, certainly your generation, Claire, I'm sure it's the same for you, was, my dad was always saying money doesn't grow on trees.
Hmm.
You have to work really, really hard.
Yeah.
Um, there was, and at Christmas, we were never spoiled, which is a good thing. But our presents were very simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also there was this belief that I constantly heard with my dad as, well, if you weren't born into money and you come into money, there's always that question of, well, how did they come into money? There's always like a suspicious mind
Yeah.
around money. And then if you've got too much, oh my God, you're greedy, you're
Yeah.
corrupt. It's the root of all evil.
Oh, you think you're better than me?
Yes, yeah. The hat, and my dad even said it the other day on the phone, bless him. The haves and the have-nots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or and the class systems. And even though there isn't class systems all over the world, even, in America, there is still a system of the haves, the lawyers, the doctors, the ones that went to the elite,
Well, the
you know,
Ivy League.
the
Yeah.
Ivy League, yeah, yeah, the boys' club, all that nonsense in London with is it the Dungeon Club? They all know each other and they all, yeah, and I don't, it feels yucky even talking about it,
Yeah.
and that's that yucky masculine energy. So we have this really complex matrix of beliefs around money that we were brought up with, and not even just what we were brought up with, but what we're still seeing in the world today.
Well, to be honest, this conversation in itself is taboo because you shouldn't talk about money.
Yes, there's that as well. I mean, especially in England, we don't talk about, people don't ask how much you earn.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in the corporate world and being in the IT world, no one discussed their salaries. And we were all doing the same job, but no one dared ask unless you were really close with somebody.
Yeah.
You didn't dare ask. So you were aware there was a and lack of equal pay. But until you sort of delve deeper and you're like, oh my God, seriously, you get paid that much? I'm doing the exact same job as you, and I'm like getting paid 20 grand less, 30 grand, 50 grand, depending on what level you're at. So yeah, it's always around us, especially as women. And we are talking about women today because women have a unique set of belief systems because of what how we've been perceived, how we see ourselves.
Yeah.
So those
So number one is worrying.
worry,
Number two is
belief
belief.
systems, and then what comes into underneath those money belief systems, and this is still part of number two, this is like B of number two, is how we see ourselves, our self-concept. We've talked about
Mhm.
identities and roles, um but our self-concept, how we see ourselves, is based on our experiences, our past experiences, and what we see in the world, our culture,
Yeah.
social media, all those things. So a lot of women don't always believe that we are deserving of money and success, that we're not good enough for it at a really subconscious level.
Well, and also one of the things that I notice amongst myself, and I do it, and a lot of my friends do, where we have access to cash, even the most meager access to cash, we spend it on our children or on our partner. Don't spend it on ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody else comes first.
Hmm.
Everything, not just everyone, but everything is above us.
Yeah.
Um, and that is a sign of showing that actually you don't necessarily feel like you matter, because in the past you may have been made to feel like that, but you're not important enough because you're not seen, you're not heard. So there's all those really complex, it's like a web of belief systems that are really sticky and keep you trapped.
Yeah.
um, so then when we have those types of belief systems that create the thoughts that we have, those thoughts then create how we feel, they impact how we feel, the language that we use, and how we then behave in the world, our behaviors and our patterns. And what's going on in it internally will reflect externally. And where your energy flows, your focus goes, or where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're focusing on, I struggle with money, we don't ever have enough, I can't afford it, then guess what? The law of attraction and the law of physics states that that's what you're going to get more of.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's kind of logical, really, isn't it? So number three, it's down to action. So we got worry, which is around your thoughts, and what how you feel about money, the way you talk about money, belief systems are that comes up behind those thoughts and those worries about what we think about money, what we were taught about money, and what we were taught about ourselves. And then sort of three is action.
Yeah.
So our actions don't match what the outcome we want to see. So that's not just in money, it's in all areas of life. So your actions aren't matching the results you want to see. So we're either distracting ourselves with other things, or we're too busy in on somebody else's drama, or we're busy doing everything and being everything to everyone.
Mm. And how
So
does that show up in relation to money? Can you give some examples?
yeah, so one of the ways that women are really good at sabotaging is with this secret here that most women don't realize, or you may be aware of it. We are really, really rubbish at receiving.
Mm.
And you'd be thinking, well, I don't think that's true actually, because I'm quite happy to get a gift, or to, get a box of chocolates, or to be given a piece of jewelry, or whatever it might be. But when you break it down, it comes down to when somebody pays you a compliment and you
Yeah.
brush it off. Oh,
Yeah.
they pay a compliment on your hair or your what you're wearing, and you just, oh no, it's nothing. Or if you do receive a gift, you go, oh my God, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And the biggest one is, so we want to be really, especially in today, most the women I come across want to be fiercely independent. Problem with that is we don't ask for help.
Yeah.
And we want to, and part of that is proving ourselves, and part of it's not trusting somebody else because we've been let down in the past. But we want to do it by ourselves because we want to prove to ourselves, we want to prove to others. But the problem with that is that we're literally saying, no, thank you. I don't need anything. I don't need any help. I don't need any assistance. I don't need abundance. I don't need to receive anything. And you're basically telling the universe, no, thank you. I'm all good by myself. And I'm not going to break into song all by myself. So we don't ask for help. Even when someone offers help, can I help you with that? No, no, I'm fine. I can manage.
Yeah, so relatable. So relatable in terms of actions, or you keep the best china locked away,
Mm.
or the best, cutlery locked away, or your special knickers never come out, or you don't even have any and they've got holes in, because that'll do.
Because that's how old they are. That's the last time
Yeah,
you bought some sexy lingerie to make you feel good.
yeah. It's dear. Um,
So
so
yeah, and I just want to say, I mean, you can have the best strategies, the best action plans and systems in the world, but you have to have the belief systems to back that up. You have to have those in
mm,
place to give you the results that you desire.
yeah. Well, and in many, I mean, it's you hear many stories, for example, around people that suddenly come into money like lottery winners,
Yes.
and because their belief systems haven't shifted, within 2 years they're bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
All the money's gone. There's
Mm-hmm.
like a feast and famine, and that can be particularly tricky in an entrepreneurial world. Without a consistent, stable income, it can be really tricky to and can unravel you.
Mm.
So I think it's really important. So can you share an experience with our listeners about, when you've shifted your energy around money and
Mm.
what happened?
Yeah, and I actually find myself doing that all the time, Claire. I thought, I've done a huge amount of work on my money beliefs. And sometimes, even recently, and you know about this, we talked about this quite recently. Even recently, if I lose myself and I forget that, Well, first of all, let's say I wasn't even aware at the beginning how I was carrying the stress of finances, because I didn't
Mm.
think I was, and
Mm.
how much I actually slipped back into that mode of lack and scarcity,
Yeah.
even though we are not only abundant in our lives and the love that I have with Dom and the abundance of this house and where we live and things just come to us all the time, all of that's happening. And financially we're abundant, but I slipped into scarcity because I was working on a really big project and it didn't quite wasn't the outcome that I was expecting. I thought, right, once I've got all this in place, it's just going to fire and it's going to go and it's going to take me the next level of my business.
Yeah.
Um, so, and I actually realized, it didn't take me long, but I realized because I was feeling really drained and tired, I noticed I was pushing myself more than I usually do. I was working much longer hours, and putting pressure on me and putting pressure on Dom in organizing his jobs for him, like his work jobs. Have you spoken to that person? Oh, when you're doing that job, and when are you doing this job, and when's that coming in, and da 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 da. And I realized I'm like, whoa, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So I noticed what I was doing quite quickly because I have the tools to do that, to realize quite quickly. So once I realized that, I was like, hang on a minute, what is going on here? What's coming up to be released? What's coming up to be healed? And I realized there was still a level of lack and scarcity. So then my question next was, what do I do to shift that?
Yeah.
And what I always do, I look for evidence around me of what's working. I took
Yeah.
time out again because I'd stopped doing reset days. I mean, I teach this to my clients all the time to take reset days, but I came so engrossed in this project and so attached to an outcome. I was like, oh, I'll do that reset in a minute, or I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do it next week. And I was like, hang on a minute, what are you doing? You can't do that. You have to walk your talk, Jennifer. And I called myself Jennifer because I was being naughty.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a really powerful reminder. And as soon as I realized, I did the number one thing that we all have to do that we'll share in a minute. And once I did that, I was able to let go of those outcomes and trust and
Mm.
follow my intuition, follow all along, because I was ignoring my intuition as well, following my intuition. And I felt calm, balanced, re energized, and re inspired.
Mm. I don't know if you realize that, but what you've just shared is hugely powerful and it's consistent with a message that you bring regularly on other topics as well. And that's the physical pain, kind of the emotions, the thoughts. Yes, you can get caught in them, or you can see them as signals and go, oh, I'm being shown this today.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So that means if I'm thinking that, that means I need to release this or I need to
Yeah,
remember that or yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Your body tells you pretty quickly when you're not in alignment. And that,
Mm.
that I was getting headaches as well. Um, yeah, you become tired, a bit lethargic, maybe drained. The way you react to others might be a little bit more impatient than usual. Um, and headaches. And it kind of, and that's when you're really aware that your body is your signal, is like your guide, one of your main guidance systems, by
Mm.
noticing what's going on in your body. Because it's really hard to capture what's going on with our thoughts, but when we
Mm.
notice what's going on in our bodies, it is that signal, it is that alert to go, hang on, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? What? Okay, that's why. Not we don't, and we don't always know. I mean, I'm pretty well versed in that after the years of mastery and things that I've been through. But sometimes, we need assistance with that.
So you've held the reset moment. You've managed to catch it. What happens next?
So you do your reset and you get back into your vibration. So we'll talk about, that's one of the that's one of the ways of creating that financial freedom and abundance.
Yeah.
So if you don't want the high stress, the overwhelm and anxiety, and you want to live in your flow and cultivate your higher potentials, you want your success, sustainable success and fulfillment. It's your vibration and your well-being that you have to nurture first.
Mm.
And I know that's really hard for people to hear.
Um, it is. It's often misunderstood as well, but it is hard, and particularly when you think, yeah, that's all right for you to say.
Mm.
You live in a lovely part of Italy, or you live in I've got these circumstances, but you don't, and it can be easy to feel trapped in whatever those circumstances are, whether those circumstances are poverty or in a relationship or in a job that you're not seen at, or there's no opportunity for a promotion. You can feel stuck and go, well, it's okay for you.
I've been in all those situations. The only situation that I haven't had is having children. But I've been in those situations where um, I've been in a job that I've hated and felt trapped because it's a really, really well paid job. And what do I do if I don't do that? Who am I? Where's my value?
Mm.
I've been in really, I mean, I've been married twice. So you can come from a place of being the victim and losing your power and giving your power away by saying those sorts of statements. Oh, it's all right for you. That's a very sort of victim mentality. Instead of saying that, you can turn that round and go, right, use those people as an example. If you can do it, why not me?
Mm.
If you can flourish, if you've gone from a suitcase, £2,000 and no home, to living your dream life in Italy and, you know, elevating and creating a successful business, why not me? Why can't I do that? And then what can I do to achieve that? You don't focus too much on the why not me. It's more, why not me?
Yeah, why the hell not me?
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
I want some of that.
So yeah, so if you want to create that financial abundance, there's certain things that you need to do.
Come on. How do you create financial abundance? How do you go? We want the secrets. How do you manifest the money and how do you receive wealth and prosperity?
So first of all, we're going to talk about vibration last because that's the most powerful thing we can do is raising our vibration and our frequency. But I'm saving that till last.
Hey.
So you have to become really aware. You can't become more aware of your thoughts. And the way you can become more aware of your thoughts is one, listen to your body.
Mhm.
Two, watch those behaviors and patterns that are showing up because your behaviors and patterns are based on your thoughts and your thoughts are based on your belief systems. So it's really good to journal. So you can journal about the language that you're using around money. You know, set time. So this is sort of workshopy advice here. It's for you to sit down and journal. And some of the questions to ask yourself are, what are my stories around money? What did I hear growing up? What
Mm.
do I see now? What's my language? What am I always talking about around money? How do I feel about money?
Yeah.
And take time and journal so that you really are taking note and being very intentional because it's a really powerful exercise. Um, yeah, how do you feel about money? Is it yucky? Is it negative? Is it very masculine energy? Or is it more of the way I look at money most of the time is I look at it as a tool. It's a tool to get me what I want. It's a tool to help me invest in my business, a tool to help me invest in myself. It's a tool to help me go on holiday or buy another, buy a car or have a nice haircut or buy new clothes. It's just a tool, but it's a tool you need to be grateful for. So when you're buying something, instead of going, paying a bill, oh
Yeah.
God, oh God, the mortgage has just gone out. Oh God, the gas bill is that amount of money, or oh my God, the cost of shopping, of grocery shopping is astronomical. And you sort of, in Sainsbury's, oh my God, I can't believe our shop costs that much money. So that's all the language that we use around money, and it's how we feel about money. But instead of doing that, you thank it. Thank you, money, for allowing me to buy some really yummy food that's going to be nutritious and feed me and my family. Thank you, money, for allowing us to have heat and hot water. And cook if you're,
Yeah.
electricity, gas. And every time you're spending money, thank it.
Mm.
An exercise a friend of mine talked about, and I've not actually done this, and I think I want to do it, because you have to be of a certain mindset to do it, and now I am. It was a few years ago. She said, go into a designer shop, one of your favorites, and try on a really expensive, or as you perceive, a really expensive dress, and just try it on and see how you feel in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also treat money like a friend, even when it's not there. Be grateful for it, and love it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a really powerful exercise to use. And again, I just want to remind you, whatever's showing up in your outside world, another indication of your thoughts, is what's going on inside. So if you're lacking money, look at how you're thinking about money, how you believe, what you feel about money, the stories you were told. And then number 2 is start to change that language around money. So instead of saying, I can't afford it, you can change that to, at the moment, I have other priorities. And the energy of that just feels so much lighter.
Yeah.
I can't afford it. It's like you really want something, but you can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you change it to, we've got other priorities at the moment, you're being sensible, you're being strategic with how you're using that tool. And if you're coming from, I haven't got enough, then look around you. Look at what you have got. Have you got food in your cupboards? Have you got clothes on your back? Have you got shoes on your feet? Have you got a car that you can drive somewhere to? Have you got money to put petrol in? And most of us in especially our audience that's listening to this, will have. Have you got a job that's paying you, that can pay your mortgage? For the most part, are your bills paid for?
So, I mean, one of the most relatable ways is perhaps around clothes.
Mm.
And oh, I've got nothing to wear. Oh, I've seen this. I really want this. Blah, 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 I haven't got the money. Blah blah blah. And then you actually look in your wardrobe and you realize that you've already got 5 of the same item, or you've got one that's absolutely perfect, but at the bottom of the drawer that you haven't worn in ages, that brings you joy. But because you're told you want this, you think you want that. So no, I want the feeling of wearing that. I want to bring in the new season, or I want to have something that cinches my waist a little bit more, or is that color. You'd be
Mm-hmm.
surprised what you've got. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
most practical things you can do
Mm-hmm.
is take everything out of the cupboards and look.
Yeah, and get creative.
Yeah. Oh,
And creativity is another way of moving energy forward and changing how you feel about something. So even if you feel stuck, so if money's too difficult for you to deal with right now, let's say you're really, really struggling, and it's just so overwhelming, and it's too overwhelming for you to focus on it, focus on something else. Put your
mm,
focus and your energy somewhere else, because if you're at a stage where you're too stuck in that lack and fear and scarcity, you might be just continuing to focus on that and build it and build it.
yeah.
So look at ways that you're abundant in other areas of life. And I always go to nature. I mean, we've got trees in our background. You are born to flourish. You are born to prosper. Prosper. You are born to have financial freedom. You're born to have things that you want, to flourish. So if you just, even if you just look outside and think about the trees out there are actually bringing me life for free. The sunshine is giving life for free.
Yeah.
I can go to a water fountain and drink for free.
I can look at the stars and wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So look at nature as one of the givers, the abundance that surrounds us. And this is one of the reasons we do this at this time of year, because it's harvest. You know, we're harvesting all the incredible gifts, the Capernia of gifts that the earth gives us. And all we do is just maybe nurture it a little bit. And there's a lot of things we don't even nurture. I mean, wild mushrooms, although don't pick them unless you're an expert. Don't want anyone back. You told me to go and get mushrooms. I've been really poorly. No, don't do that.
No.
But we found morels last March um, in a secret area. But no, there was a group of morels that were growing. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and we knew they were morels. Morel mushrooms, for those that don't know, but morels are really expensive in restaurants because you can only get them in the wild.
Yeah.
But nature gives us that.
Well, blackberries. I mean, the number of blackberries that just get left on the bush and people they don't even think about them. It's like, in a second, look at these little bursts of flavor, of sweetness, of tartness, depending on the one. They're
Mm.
there. They're there. Just go,
Free.
yeah,
Yeah. And then more from a practical point of view, look at what you've got in your home
yeah,
and focus on that, and focus not just material things, but then the people that love you, the people that are around you, you know, your loved ones,
yeah.
your children, your partner, things and people that you love, your friends. That's all part of your abundance. And by shifting into that, you start to come away from scarcity and more into realizing, actually, I was born to be abundant.
Can I add one more into that, which is
Yes.
around adventure and seeing the place where you live as a tourist would, and just,
Mm.
go and see the seafront or go to a museum, and again, these are on your doorstep. They're very often free or very low cost, but you forget to do it. You forget to break your normal cycles.
Yeah. Yeah. Little picnic adventure.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've done the journaling. We've really started to be honest
Mm-hmm.
and pick. We've looked in our proverbial cupboards, and we've actually seen that the harvest has been good, and we have got a lot more than we thought we did. Is there anything else we can do?
Yes. I mean, as I mentioned before, we can change the behavior as much as we want, but we also have to transform those belief systems.
Hmm.
Because if we don't, what happens is we change for a while, and we've all seen that in, especially in partners. Oh, I'll change, I'll do better, I'll do this, or you want to, you know, dieting, for example. Yeah, no, I'm going to be healthy, or I'm going to exercise more. And we all kind of, you know, we end up falling off the wagon because, and go back to our old habits, because the underlying belief systems are still the same, in that we don't feel like we deserve that success, we don't feel worthy of it, or we're not good enough.
Yeah.
So women, especially women, have huge blind spots. And it's important, if you want to pass that and you want rapid, extraordinary results, you need guidance, and you need guidance from an expert. And that expert could be me, for example. But I mean, you know, I have a mentor. I know that, and belong to other masterminds and things. I know, Claire, you do as well. It's important. Women don't just want to succeed, they want to self actualize. They want
Yeah.
to live purposefully. They want to feel fulfilled. It's not just about the money and this job and this car and that house. They want to feel like they're contributing and making a difference. So to do that, you really do need to have a guide or guides or mentors, because it is impossible for you to understand or see the intricate complex web of belief systems that we all hold.
Mm.
And then when you do see them, because they bring those glass ceilings, they bring those limitations. And when we do see them, you then need somebody to really guide you to change and transform that.
Yeah.
And you really can't do that on your own. I struggled for years trying to do it on my own.
Mm.
And clients that come to me have struggled for years trying to do it on their own.
Mm.
And you can't.
So finding a guide, and then our listeners are going to, you teased us, Jen. Our
Oh yeah, the
listeners,
vibration.
she says, coyfully, leaving it off.
Oh,
Tell us about the
vibration.
vibration.
So
Mm.
with your vibration, so the things that we want, like wealth and financial freedom and abundance, they're at a much higher frequency. And quite a few of our listeners understand frequency and vibration and the law of attraction. And some of you might already do this, but again, if you're not seeing what you want to see in your world, you're not seeing the results, then you're missing something. You're not doing certain things. And most of us, it will be consistently taking care of our vibration. So you want to raise your vibration to match. So if you're coming from scarcity and fear and you're worrying about money, your vibration is very low.
Yeah.
Money and prosperity and financial freedom is much, much higher. It's a really high vibration. So you need to close that gap and bring your vibration up. It's like trying to listen to love songs and you're on a rock station, like a hardcore heavy metal rock
Yeah.
station. It doesn't feel good. Great if you love
No,
heavy
no, no.
metal, but not if you're wanting love and vice versa. So you have
Yeah.
to tune into the right station by raising your frequency. So one of my go-tos and one of my favorites is gratitude.
Yeah.
It is one of the easiest, simplest, and it's free. Doesn't cost anything. Some of your time, but that's it. By focusing on 1 to 3 things every day that you feel grateful for, or you really appreciate it,
Mm.
is key. And when I say appreciation and gratitude, I mean that you feel it in your bones, you feel it in your heart, to the point where you actually feel like your whole body's smiling. And that takes practice. I've had quite a lot of clients that come through to me and can't get there until I help them through it. So I take people on a really beautiful gratitude journey so they actually feel it in the body and realize what it feels like. And we go deep. It's not just, oh, I'm really grateful that the sun's come up. I'm really grateful that I love my partner. It's,
Yeah.
it's much deeper than, because people say, oh, I do gratitude. No, you don't.
Mm.
Unless you are feeling it and you are smiling and your body is tingling with it.
I I think you're hinting at something that's quite different because, if you go on socials these days, there are a million people that will sell you something in order to
Gratitude
make you
journal.
richer. Yeah,
Right.
to make you
Yeah.
richer. We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And it doesn't actually deliver. So, what makes you, what you're describing different? And why do you get those rapid and extraordinary results for your clients?
Mm. And by the way, gratitude is just one way to raise your vibration. There are others. And just quickly, one is creativity, two is connecting with nature. So that actually is three: gratitude, creativity, nature. And there are many, many more, but they're really good ones to get started with. I think one of the things that's different, I'm not your average coach. I've realized, I didn't realize before, it took me a while, but I realized I'm not actually your average coach, because coaching have a certain framework that they work with. Like you might use the grow not platform model, the grow model, which is great. So you can go to a coach, you talk about what your goals are, you look at what you're resisting, the opportunities, and how you can work together to get to those goals. So you put steps and strategies and things like that in place, which is all great. But the number one thing that you need to do first is really go into your your client, I really go into my clients' belief systems and their concept of how they see themselves,
Yeah.
who they are, what are their roles and their identities, um, what is it that drives them, those thoughts, those belief systems. So I use a radically different approach. So we first of all start by building trust. I create a non-judgmental, encouraging, and safe environment.
Mm.
We uncover those blind spots, those sneaky hidden beliefs that even I need help. Even at this level, I still need help uncovering any of those sneaky belief systems that might be lurking. And through powerful and gentle questioning techniques, help you change the way you see yourself. So you start to see yourself in a completely new, positive light. And it's in the light of the person that you were born to be. It's
Mm.
in the light of who you really are at your core, which is a loving being of light and love who came here to make a difference.
I can imagine that, I mean, aside from being, because I know you would be a powerful cheerleader, actually seeing someone who holds the space for you to connect and think, ah, this is where I've gone, this is what I've done, is hugely powerful.
Mm. Yes. So it's not me telling my client this is how it is. It's helping them. It's sort of pulling a thread and
Mm.
unraveling that and looking at what lies beneath all of that. And it is
Mm.
a brave and courageous journey, but I help my clients get to that place where they feel brave and courageous. So it helps you feel empowered and confident and a real force to be reckoned with. And I use a host of proven, I don't just use practical techniques, but I use enlightening tools. And depending on the client, some clients might be really drawn to oracle cards, for example, or crystals, or I might incorporate Reiki healing, depending on what my client's open to. And
Yeah.
and I use activations and daily rituals and practices that suit the client. It's not just here's a list, this is what you do. It depends on what suits that client that I'm working with. And the shifts that we make are on a cellular level. They're not
Yeah.
just surface, they go deep into the cellular level. So the change is irreversible. It's irreversible transformation.
Mm.
And if like me, if you do slip back, because we do forget, we're like, oh, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
this is what's going on. What's in my toolkit? What's going on in there? Oh, yeah, I can use this. I can use that. So instead of getting really judgmental about it and really upset and angry and frustrated, it's like, this is an opportunity for me to grow. This is an opportunity for me to heal something else that's ready to be healed.
Hmm. So how can people reach you, Jen, if they want to find out more about what you offer? Because there is a lot in there, and it sounds like it's unique to the person.
Yes, it is very much. But although what's interesting is we all have the same patterns.
Yeah.
But what's unique is and we all have our own stories and our own traumas and things like that. But there is patterns and certain behaviors that relate to certain belief systems. And certain tools and practices will suit a certain type of person versus, somebody that's more spiritual will suit certain tools. Somebody that's more logical and analytical will want more practical tools. So it kind of brings them both together beyond the mindset and beyond mindfulness. So people can reach me through my ZenGen website. I also have an anxiety-free living website because my focus is mostly overwhelm, anxiety, stress, and burnout. Because if I focus on too much, it's too confusing. But
Mhm.
ultimately, I'm focusing on helping women come back to who they truly are and release those belief systems that hold them back and elevate, though, get rid of, diminish, reduce, eliminate, I should say, those glass ceilings and really help them see their higher potentials.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
go,
yeah, my
perfect.
website, my email, and even my WhatsApp address. I love to receive messages from people and chat to see, just have a chat to get to know me a bit better, and for me to get to know you a bit better, so that I can see if I can help you and what that would look like for you.
If you want to live long and prosper.
Yeah, I did think about. I can't do that. Can you? Can you
I'm
do
sure
it?
Scott was a Virgo for sure. Here you go. There you
I can't.
are.
I can't do it. I kind of
Oh, okay.
I got little fingers that go out.
It's my
Anyway,
Vulcan test.
yes.
No, no, there's so much that you've given today that actually you can see every single level. And you know what? When there are so many levels, you have so many opportunities to fix, to try something, to remember what you've got access to. What a great way to start our month on prosperity and wealth and abundance.